Mgtow Millionaire Lesson 22, the Hotdog Stand. Welcome back to my little corner of the web. This is Fucker Truman, your host, back with another video. Today we're gonna drop into a little story and some tidbits on how to set up a business if you're diving into the goods part of the financial spectrum. A friend of mine a few years ago decided to start running a small business in South America, and he decided to do hot dog stands, American style. So he found a nice little place that he had lived in for a couple of years. So he knew the rotation of people, the popular places, and the corners of the streets that were highly populated. The second thing he did, he loved hot dogs. And he realized in South America they didn't serve them exactly as they do in the United States. There was no chili sauce, no pickle sauce, and other things, assorted sauce. I forgot the other ones, but just basically a standard American hot dog stand, which is not typical down in South America in many countries. I'm talking about Venezuela, Colombia, Peru, Argentina, Chile. You'll see this in Chile and Argentina in some places, especially in malls. Anyway, he understood everything that had to be understood about creating and running a hot dog place, because he used to work in a hot dog stand back in New York when he was younger. So he knew everything about the cost of running it, where to get it, and he knew the only thing he needed to update was the suppliers of everything he needed in order to get the sausage and the sauces and any other materials in order to set up the stand. But he had his costs and his productions down. Same thing for you. If you want to set up a hot dog stand, you gotta know your suppliers, you gotta know the right corner, and you gotta know the rotation of people, just because you live there, because you understand the place you're doing it. And once you do it, you set it up and start selling. The rule of thumb here that he applied was always sell something that you would buy yourself. He will never sell a product that will not be used by him. It was impossible, because that was his quality assurance, or his control over quality of the product he was selling. If I don't like what I'm serving, if I don't eat or I wouldn't buy what I'm selling, I'm not selling it. That was his bottom line. This is pretty standard, but it's called the KISS strategy, or keep it simple, stupid. It sounds a little bit offensive, but it's true. Just keep it as simple as possible. The simplest strategy is the fastest one to any goal, if you can apply it. Having said that, you have to understand what is it that you're doing and how much it costs. Why? Because putting your hot dog stand and working on it for a year or year and a half is not what's going to really make you money. What really making money is because he knew how to set one up and have it after 3 to 4 months be profitable, and then set up another hot dog stand. And after setting up the second one in another place of the town that he knew it was also popular, where people were crossing the street constantly, etc. And they like to eat on the way home. You know, you have to be in a sector appropriate with what is it that you're selling. He was lucky enough that he knew in the first stand, he knew somebody who helped him set up the stand in a place where he lived, so he knew the rotation of people, where was the popular corner, and he did it easily. The second one, he got help from someone in the municipality sector in the country he was in, and partnered with him. And he told him that these are the hot spots, and this is how many people surround themselves. This is where different businesses of food are around the area, where people just go pass by and grab something to eat. So you set up here, and he worked towards getting the corner so he could set up his next stand there. And then a third one, and a fourth one, and a fifth one. This was in a period of about 2 or 3 years. And of course, that doesn't make you rich, but in South America it's not normal. So these stands started producing about $25,000 net earnings each month in total. That's amazing for not having much and just working from 8 to 5 in a government office, because you came down from the United States to help the embassy in a certain country in South America. Not bad at all. What were the 5 keys that he used in order to make it work? The first one, he used the KISS strategy. Keep it simple. That's it. The second one, he knew the area where he lived very well, and he knew where he had an opportunity to place his own business. Third, the product he sold and the image that the product had, the marketing aspect of it. He had a very good grasp of it. He knew what to do and what needed to be done. But most importantly, he understood the ins and outs of the cost of production and what was needed as a workforce and expenditures in order to make it work. And that helped for the next step, which is the fourth one. Knowing the business from head to toe, up and down, from left to right and right to left, helps you to delegate. And that's the kicker. You see, every time he set up a new stand, he knew he was losing and he was going to lose revenue. But the ability of understanding and knowing the numbers of how much can each stand produce on how the business works, and the cost and the inventory that was involved in the production and the business itself, it allowed him to not get robbed and to have a great control of the people he delegated to. So he delegated to others, and he just basically took a daily glance of the business on every single stand, and he understood where things stood because he knew the business. And when you know your business and you know what you're doing, what you're selling, and how much money can you make daily because you've been working it, or at least you were supervising it while it started for 2 or 3 months, as a guiding post, this idea, of course. He was able to create several businesses and have free time to get better providers or suppliers. So he, in turn, he got better deals, and getting better deals put his costs down, and he got better product. So same price, sales price with lower production costs, better margins, and so forth and so forth. And the fifth one, and the critical part of all this, you can start and work for 1 to 2 years for your first business until you properly learn it from up and down and everything you need to know. If you're starting very young, you're 21, 22, and you want to start a business, well, this is what you need to do. The other way is going the investment route, buying stocks, cryptocurrencies, and the like, bonds, But if you're going to go the goods route, selling goods and services, which is this combination of the Hotdog stand, you need to choose your delegated managers very, very carefully. Before that, you need to have those other 4 things I mentioned before locked. They have to be running smoothly. You gotta know your business up and down, because that's the only way you can check them and see if they're right or wrong. An example of that was my uncle. He had no degree at all and how to build a plant or work on machinery or cars. But he had been around cars all his life. So just by listening to the car of his old 69 Mustang, he will be able to tell if it was wrong or not. He didn't need a mechanic to know what piece was wrong. Just by hearing the engine, he knew what needed to be done. Same thing here. That's why I told you long before in other audios and other videos, please know what you do and love what you do. Because if you do, nobody can rob you and steal you. And now, how do you select the people that are going to work with you? The first thing, if you know them for life, it's better. But don't make them your friends. They're your co-workers or your dependents or whatever it is, but they are not your friends. They are just workers for you. Remember that. So don't hire your best friend. Unless you know it's a lockdown, because when you include money into a relationship that's not based on money before, you might lose your friend. Money does weird things to people, so don't mix the two. It's not a good idea. Most of the time. There are exceptions to everything, but it's preferably not to do it. And you should know, because you can ask people around that have done it. So how do you choose a delegate or a worker or a manager? You find out if they have worked in this type of business before. So you know at least the operational part of the business you're working, it's going to work. You hire them, you put them to work. If not, you get a novice and you train them. And you teach them everything you want them to do. Sometimes it's better to get a new guy. Every time you open an additional spot or additional POS, point of service, or point of sale, you need to retrain your personnel. If you train them personally and they starting from scratch and they're young, it's better because they'll do things the way you want them to do. They'll learn your way of doing things, and they won't come with their baggage or their expertise, because it can always be clashes there. Most importantly, you need an honest person. You will try to get an honest person of all things. But that's why even if you're mistaken and you make mistakes by choosing your manager, you need to know your business inside and out when it comes to cost, inventory, production, and rotations and all that. Why? Because that way, even if they're doing something wrong, you'll know the minimum money, the down low of how you're going to get them to produce the money you want. That's about it. And the extra part of having these businesses is that my friend decided to share a little bit of the ownership with them. So they worked extra hard. And yes, he lost revenue and net income at the end of every year on the different stands he had. But he always said, yes, I earn less because they own more of the business. Sometimes I don't like it, but the truth is I work less too. And I only work is doing all the other things, the macro view of my business. And I have a lot more free time to do whatever it is that I want. And that has no price. And that's why he did it that way. We're going to go into more detail of that examples later. I hope you like it. Please share, like, and subscribe, comment if you need to expand on this idea. Thank you for my subscribers. This is the beginning of examples of how to set up different businesses. Of course, if you want more detail on this, please write, comment, or Facebook, Twitter, so we can expand it if you need it too. I hope you liked the video. Anyway, and F to those who don't like hot dogs, I love them anyway. That's a joke. Truman out.